Call this meeting to order. Do we have an invocation tonight? Does not appear so. So we'll start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to
the flag
America and to the republic
for
the nation under God. Do we have any changes to the agenda? Yes. Okay.
I move to approve the agenda.
There's been a motion and a second to approve the agenda. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those- Sorry, Marcia. All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Now it's time for public comments. This is a time where citizens are encouraged to speak publicly. We request that you come to the podium and state your name and address, speak respectfully, and limit your comments to 3 minutes. Are there any public comments tonight? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to proclamations and recognitions, and we will now welcome Mary Toman to the stand for Declaration of Independence 250th Anniversary Proclamation.
I'm a member of the Nathan Edson chapter of the National Daughters of the American Revolution. A proclamation will soon be read to invite citizens to remember that the anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence was signed 250 years ago. We encourage citizens to celebrate our nation.
Thank you very much. No motion is required for that. So we'll move on to our public hearing. The condemnation of 321 East 12th Street.
Good evening. Bringing to you today, the resolution is my recommendation for the condemnation or condemning the residential structure and accessory structure at 321 East 12th Street and 424 East 1st Street. This resolution recommends 30 days to start the process of removal or repair with the application of a building permit or demo permit. The listed owners have been in contact with me. The 321 East 12th Street property owner has accepted a bid and the property is in the process of demolition for the structure and the accessory structure.
Okay, the public hearing is now open and we'll allow for any public comments.
David Saunders, 93 Chisholm Road, Inman, Kansas. I'm here on behalf of my brother Michael, who is in a rest home about his property, about his trailer at 424 East 1st. Yes, it needs to be repaired. And if it has to be condemned and tore down, the city's got to pay for it because he doesn't have any money. All his money is going to the rest home. He's a retired Army and Social Security is all he's got. My wife and I, we cannot afford to do it. We're here on his behalf. We've been trying to take care of him since February, get him situated, get him around. The house can't, the mobile home can be repaired. There's no doubt about it. But it will take time and it will take money. Every time we come up here, it costs us over $100 in fuel. And I've had to hire people to go in and clean up. We've cleaned up most of it. The trailer house has been cleaned up. They've been taking stuff taken out of it. You're the city inspector?
Yes.
Okay. Talk to him on the phone. And I agree with him that it cannot be lived in until it is brought back up to code. But it will take time for us to do that. And Mike is not going to go live back in it. He's permanently in a rest home. We're trying to get him moved down closer to us so we won't have to travel so far up to take care of his business. I just appreciate it if you would just give me time to do this, my family time to do this. It's just me and my wife. And that he does, I got two other brothers, but they're not going to help. So if it gets done, it's going to have to come out of our pocket, not his, not my brother's, not anybody else's. And since we're retired, I'm 72 years old, my wife's 69. So we're living from paycheck to paycheck. It will just take time for us to do this. It's not going to be a 90-day thing. And I want to emphasize that nobody is going to live in that mobile home. We even thought about having it tore down, but we don't have the money for that either because it's going to cost, I don't know what it's going to cost. You know, the lot belongs to us, the trailer house belongs to him. So that's kind of situation we're in. We were told, went to the county and they said it was worth $12,800. My wife says, write us a check and you can have it. It's not worth that and that. So, and then on top of that, the state may want it. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I mean, you know, they'll try to sell it and then somebody's gotta come in there and get it. So we talked to them today. We haven't got notification on that yet either, because like I said, he is in the care of the state now. He's not, you know, so if you ever dealt with that, you know what we're talking about. It's a mess. And they take every dime. And he's gonna get $60 a month to live on. Yes, he's in a rest home. Yes, he gets everything taken care of, but if he wants to buy something or order a pizza or whatever, he can't. He doesn't have the money. We have to shut his credit cards off. We have to shut his debit cards off because all the money that goes in his checking account will go to the state. So I appreciate your time and be open-minded about this. I really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Question, Chuck?
Yeah, Mr. Saunders,
And you're right.
real quick, you said that you would ask for some time, and certainly appreciate that, and that not going to be a 90-day deal. Is there any idea that you have as to
No,
what that
I
would
do not
take?
have any idea. We can do what we can do. Like I said, we're retired, we live paycheck to paycheck, we save our money up and we come up here. We come up here today because the state was over there talking to Mike, we had to be there for that. Because my wife has the power of attorney for it and that, so she had to be there for that. We have other property here in Concordia and that, but you know, it's just vacant lots, what they are. And that's what'll happen to this, they'll turn into a vacant lot. You'll lose your tax base because vacant lots only draw $20 a year. I've got two of them, and that's what they pull on First Street, so. But this way we can maybe. Now I thought if I did get it fixed up and get it to where it was livable, last inspection, that maybe we could rent it out. But we have a worry about that too, because how do we know somebody ain't gonna go in there and tear it up?
Sure.
Because we have nobody here that can manage it for us. My one brother's in here, Chester, he's here, but he can't do it. There's no way, he's 80 years old, so, sorry guys, I just, you know.
I
I'm
appreciate
just
it.
asking for your help, not help, just your leniency on what we can do and what we can't do. We're doing what we can do. We're doing the best we can do. And that we just, with both of us, I have to start a school bus in the fall in order to make to have extra money to spend. So, but if I could get my grandchildren up here to help us, they're all working. You know, they just can't drop of the hat and go. And one of them found a factory travel. The other one, you know, I have a large family, but they're still working. They're not like us, where we can just take off and go. And my family's been into the town since 1930, and they still are. You know, I mean, my wife grew up here. I grew up here. My mom and dad run the Yellow Cab Company here in town when it was going. I go cab for them. They run the EFD Express, so you know they did own the business here.
Sure.
And that, but I remember when this was boat.
What would be a reasonable amount of time, do you think?
It's gonna take a while. I'm not gonna take a guess.
Thinking 6 months?
Oh, no, it's gonna take longer than that
Okay,
because we just don't have the resources. If I could hire somebody to go in there and do it, hell, it'd probably take them a couple of weeks, you know, but we don't have that kind of resources. And I'm not gonna hawk the property because it's not ours to loan against, because it's his trailer. And you're gonna be going after him, not me. And we're just trying to
So is
keep
it-
him.
even able to be sold, I mean,
Pardon?
he couldn't even sell it, could he?
You can
No.
build the structure, he can't sell the land,
Right, because he
because
doesn't
that
own the
doesn't belong
land.
to him, yeah.
But
He-
since he is in a nursing home and
Yeah, he
can
can't
it
even
even be
sell. if he's-
sold? He
Yeah,
couldn't- I
if-
don't think he could even
If-
sell
He
it.
would have to get
sells it,
permission to do
yeah, if
it.
he sells it, the money will go to the state
Go to the state.
automatically.
Could you provide some clarification though, since it's the property owner and it's the land, is this who's the condemnation against, the landowner or the property?
So that's where it gets tricky, because essentially the structure is what is to be condemned. However, in a situation, and I'm not gonna like this, but in a situation where you would have to knock that structure down, if there was an amount, I mean, the lien's gonna attach to that land because that structure was on that land. You know, he couldn't, you know, he said he's not gonna hawk it. Well, he couldn't, because it's not his trailer to sell. It's his property. And that's the trailer and land stuff is confusing because you can have two owners of essentially what appears to be the same parcel. But it sounds like he owns, your brother owns the actual trailer and you own the land there. So it can get complicated because if it got to a point where like this is not a structure we can have here, if that is taken down, then essentially the lien would then, because that lien has to attach to something, it's going to attach to the land, just like if we knock a house down. So that's where it gets a little complicated. Now, if he turned around and said, well, I'll just sell the trailer and somebody can come and get it, it also depends on how much, no offense, probably not gonna get a lot for that trailer.
No,
So honestly,
it's a
they may not,
1972.
yeah.
It's 55 years
The
old.
state may not have a whole lot of interest in trying to recoup that, but that is something that then they have to disclose to them that we sold some of his property. So it's not that easy, especially when someone's in a nursing home to do that. Cause I'd hate for them to get into a situation that, where you.
Yeah, city, if the state makes us sell it, good luck with that one. Because it's been sitting since probably 1972. Been sitting on that lot for 50 years, as far as I know. I mean, I know it's been there for at least 25, 26 years. Because in 2002, I put an addition on it. With the approval of the city, I put an addition on the side of it, and that's been 25 years ago. So I know and my brother lived in it before that. And then my mom and dad bought it from him. So how long that's been, I don't know. I mean, I was 15 yesterday, so was it, I mean, it just, you just don't remember a lot of things like that. Mom and dad always took care of it, and then they turned it over to Mike. I wish Mike would have contacted me. I mean, it'd been nice. I mean, I could tell you what happened and why it's in the condition it's in, but it ain't gonna make any difference. It's not, in a way, it's his fault, yes, but it's also a contractor in town that was in town's fault because they scared him. And he shut the gas off. They told him his furnace was gonna asphyxiate him because they wanted to sell him a new furnace.
Okay.
So he shut the gas off. So that's why he didn't have any heat in the middle of winter and everything's froze, which caused a disaster in the bathroom and the front room and the kitchen. That's the only two rooms that really need to be fixed up, the bathroom and the kitchen, but it's just gonna take time to do it. I would say how long it's gonna take. Man, I gotta drive up here. I gotta pull a trailer up here. I've gotta get material to get it up here. I've gotta get equipment up here and take and do all that. And then, we're only allotted so many hours of the day. And like I said, you can't stay in that trailer. There's no way you can stay in that trailer. I wouldn't even let a rat stay in that trailer the way it looks now. I mean, the two rooms are pretty bad. The rest of it is fine.
Okay, thank you.
But, I wish I could be more specific on what we can do, but I'm just going by what I know. And technically speaking, I don't even have to be here because it's my brother's problem, but I'm trying to take and help him because he is not capable of doing it.
I appreciate you.
Doing that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Are there any further public comments?
I have a quick question for Tim. Does this property would it qualify for the demo program, and has that information been shared?
I can't hear you. I'm sorry.
Tim? Is the property eligible for the demo program?
And has that information been shared? And so,
Yes, I have shared that with them.
Okay.
It's hard telling. I mean, there is some money that you can get back with that. But they have to pay the contractor up front, and then they get reimbursed for that. So it's kind of up to them on that, but I have given them the information.
Like I said, we do still have utilities hooked up to it. But what you decide here tonight will make a difference. If something happens that we can't keep hold of it, we will shut the utilities off.
Okay.
And that, because there's no reason to have anything hooked up there.
Okay.
Just that simple. So we leave it in your hand.
Any additional comments or questions? If not, this public hearing is now closed. If you all don't mind, I probably should actually read the proclamation from earlier out loud. And so I would be happy to do that at this time, if that pleases the commission. Okay. Whereas on July 4th, 2026, our nation will commemorate the semi-quincentennial anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. And whereas the journey toward this historic milestone is an opportunity to reflect on our nation's past, honor the contributions of all Americans, and look ahead to the future generations who will carry forward the ideals of democracy and individual liberty that make the United States a unique nation in the world community. And whereas the National Society Daughters of the American Revolution, DAR, are celebrating Stars and Stripes forever and rejoicing in our DAR ties of service and friendship by celebrating our nation's rich history and diversity, promoting belonging through the membership and dedicated service to God, home, and country, and by helping in patriotic projects. Whereas daughters are celebrating our nation's rich history and diversity of experience by honoring all men and women who achieved American independence. These patriots, believing in the noble cause of liberty, fought valiantly to establish a new nation. Whereas the daughters encourage citizens to honor our rich history on July 4th, 2026, 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Resolved that I, Ashley Hutchison, Mayor, commend and commemorate to all of our Concordia residents in testimony whereof I have whereunto set my hand an official seal. And we'll be reading this at Saturday at the Broadway Plaza.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that. We'll move on to condemnation of 424 East First Street.
424 East First Street, that's the one we've just been talking about.
Yes.
Oh, so 321 East 12th Street. The public hearing is now open.
321 East 12th Street. That one I do have, that was the one I was saying beforehand. That was the one we have demolition already in place. She has already got it going. I don't know the date yet, but they're supposed to happen in a couple weeks, I'm sure. They do have insurance proceeds on that one, but we don't have anything. We have it, but we don't have anything as far as. Sorry, what am I trying to say here? There is insurance receipts, and once the house is gone and demoed, then we will give that back to them.
Are there any public comments? Seeing none, all those in favor, oh wait, nope, seeing none, this public hearing is now closed. So we'll move on to the action agenda 2026-2236, the condemnation of 321 East 12th Street.
I move to approve resolution 2026-2236.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on to resolution 2026-2237, the condemnation of 424 East First Street.
This one is the one we were just talking about. Saunders were here speaking on the other behalf. Just requesting 30 days on this. And I plan on keeping in contact with the owner and people on his behalf. So and I'll work with them. That's my plan, to work with them. The house, I do believe, could be habitable again. There's some things cleaned up, so.
Understanding that there's going to be more time that's being asked for and that's needed, and certainly respect and appreciate everything you have to say. I think one of the prime reasons that we move forward with something like this is really just to keep things to where they're not static. And I think that my thought would be to provide a broader timeline, knowing that we're not quite sure how long and wanting to give there to be a better window. But from my understanding, as long as we're seeing progress being made, then we're not going to move forward to it. But this action is just to help make sure that action is taking place. And from the time that I've had the opportunity to be here, I think that we've worked hard to work with property owners when there's a good faith effort being made to do the work that's necessary. And I would certainly hope that would be the case here, even if we do move forward with the resolution, amending the time to see things continue to happen. Certainly understand limited budgets, understand the dynamics of a nursing home, care home. So I don't know if we would want to modify the amendment to get more time.
Is there any reason that just the starting repair or removal couldn't happen within 30 days? Like a
We have
planned
been
payment?
working on it.
Okay, so
Yeah, we
so
have.
really,
Yeah.
what we're voting on today is just that you have 30 days to start the repair or removal, and then that just needs to continue.
Yeah. We have-
Based on between you and Tim. So what we're voting on is
Matter of fact,
that it doesn't stay stagnant. So just, I mean, to be clear about that. So if it's already in the process, then it makes no sense to make it go beyond 30 days.
Okay,
matter of fact, we're coming back up Friday
okay,
to work on the land, to work on the property, because during your storm, we had trees fall over in the yard, we gotta get that cleaned up. And we come up twice a month to mow. So my son does, but so we will be up here working on. I'm just saying that we can't do it in a 90-day, a complete job in a 90-day period. We can't do that.
sir, understand
We'll
that.
just take, we will, and I was gonna start working on it,
Mhm.
but I didn't know what was gonna happen here. I didn't want to put money into it. Well, I'm gonna add money and have to fix it up, and then you guys.
Yeah, and sir, understand that tonight, it's just to make sure progress continues. You could still
Progress.
continue on progress.
Progress has been made.
Okay.
Yes, yes.
So that's what that motion
Oh,
is
yes, we
tonight.
went in and cleaned it. My daughter-in-law come up here and worked on it for 8 hours cleaning up
Right.
all the trash. We hauled out three trailers of trash.
Okay.
And we're not done. There's a lot more to come go.
Yeah, I think just to help provide that clarification, it's not that at the end of 30 days, if everything's not done, the house is gonna be brought down. That's not what would take place here. It's just it's giving us some ability to help encourage and ensure that work continues. And as long as work is continuing in a good faith effort,
We will.
there's not gonna be a problem.
We will. We're not gonna let it sit. I can't do that. Because like the roof on the addition's gotta be fixed, the parts on the other house, on the mobile home itself, has gotta be fixed on the roof. The inside, there's gotta be cleaned up, finished, it is cleaned up, we just need to go in there. I wanna rip everything out and start from scratch, because I don't like any of it.
Commissioner Hatch.
I mean.
Would it be appropriate for us to table this for an indefinite period of time? I don't know, you don't want to do that?
We've started the process. We kind of need to keep going through it and, you know, like we're saying, it's not gonna, in 30 days, we're not gonna take it down. We're gonna work with them as long as they're still going. So we can give extension.
The thing that would cause a problem is if we don't continue to hear from you, I would guess, or we don't continue the.
And that's a good point. I think, if anything were to happen to any of the parties immediately involved, having this in place would allow us to be able to move forward without having to go through the effort or of restarting the process. So
Restarting.
that would be a good safety net for the city. It allows there to continue to be work being done without being bothered by the city. And so I think that it still makes sense to move forward with it. And then hopefully have some, Tim, you can have some conversation, just to help make sure that we're not, as long as things are moving forward in good faith, that we're not.
Absolutely.
And actually, a permit is required within 30 days.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the first step then, right?
Yes.
So get a permit called.
Yeah, and I'll get it all that information.
Okay.
All right. I move then to approve resolution 2026-2237.
Second,
Motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Moving on now to the minutes of the June 17th, 2026 meeting.
I move to approve the minutes of the June 17th, 2026 meeting.
second,
We put a motion in several seconds to approve the minutes of the June 17th, 2026 meeting. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
aye,
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Now on to appropriation ordinance number 12.
I move to approve appropriation ordinance number 12.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
I had one quick question. There is an invoice for Revise LLC for the website. Is that our ambulance billing or what?
No, that's to operate our website. We have to have a license.
That's our website. Okay.
Any other questions or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Bids for replacement of fire alarm panel.
Mayor and Commissioners, good evening. First thing I've got is the fire alarm panel, and it has had a trouble light on for a number of months now. Trying to get through the bid process and everything for that. Some people coming to troubleshoot and try to fix it. They were not able to. The one company is just, they'll troubleshoot, repair, but they don't do a lot of work. That was the local security. The other one that was actually made the panel with the Johnson controls. They came and looked at it, tried to fix it. They couldn't. That was actually very pricey to have them come and try to fix it. Hindsight, probably shouldn't have had them come fix it. We should have just replaced it. So with that trouble light on, it doesn't pass fire inspection. We could potentially have like a new code footprint made and see if the state fire marshal's office would let us go without it. But I don't believe they would. Even with the sprinkler system, we have to have some flow detection at a minimum of the fire alarm. So we're still going to be spending, I don't know for sure, but it would definitely be more than $1,000 for just that small portion of it. Plus having the code footprint made, that's not free either. So my recommendation is to go with the Wilson Security for the $5,400 to replace that alarm panel. Just because the more expensive bid from them is for a smart system that tells the panel where that sensor or pull station is located, if it's having a trouble mode or if it's actually alarming. With our building, as small as it is, as familiar as we are with it, really not necessary, I don't believe. Plus Wilson Security, they're going to be doing an annual inspection on it every year for me. And a part of that inspection is he actually looks at each of the pull stations, the sensors, and makes sure they're in working order, and they are much less expensive to have the dumb sensor instead of the smart one. So any other questions about it?
I appreciate your work with that. I would move to approve the bid from Wilson Security Solutions LLC to replace the fire alarm panel with a 10% contingency for $5,472.50.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Ambulance billing contract.
Next thing here, our ambulance billing contract. So we contract that to Thea McMillan. She's actually done it for about 12 years now. She started when she was an employee in the front office here. After she left, she maintained her billing credentials, did it as like a part-time job. In 2022, she moved to a contracted position for that. At that time, they contracted it for $1,220 a month. She is asking for an increased rate on the contract, and she would like that to start August 1st. Looking at my budget, I can afford it through the end of the year. I would have to increase that line for next year just to make sure it's covered. And when I increase that, I would actually increase it to the 1,001 to the 1,100, just because we are so close. Right now, we're under that with probably plenty of room, but I don't know that we would continue that just based on our years of increasing call volume. I did reach out to 2 other places just to kind of shop around a little, see what prices were. The first one that is heavily used by Kansas EMS Services, that Delisa's out of Delphus, and definitely substantially more. The only real thing they offer that Thea doesn't is the collections. So it would be a very small amount that we lose to collections when we send EMS bills to them. That's 4.5% that CBK
30.
It's 30%. I thought they said 4. Okay.
The amount that actually went to collections compared to what was actually collected. So when they collect the amount, they take 30%. But we looked at the percentage that they kept compared to everything that we received, and it was 4.5, so that's right.
Okay. So very small amount, doesn't equal the thousands that it would cost to have the leases do it. Reached out to a bigger company, more of a nationwide one, just to see. They do 6.5 or 7% for our size of service. They said it would depend monthly on if it was 6.5 or 7%, depending on where we fell that month. And that was 26,000 on the low end, or for what we budgeted. And in my opinion, we should stay with you just because we know a lot more close how much we're going to spend each year on building. Not only is it less, but it's easy to budget over budget for maybe $1,000 or $2,000 versus $5,000-$10,000. Any questions there?
And this is, how many hours, like, I mean, it's not an hourly thing, I know it's contracted, but is it pretty time consuming to do? The building? I guess that would be for Thea.
It's usually per month, I'm doing probably about 30 hours.
30 hours.
Yeah.
I'd move to authorize the city manager to sign the contract with BMF Mellon for ambulance billing services.
Second.
The motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed, same sign, and I abstain. All those reasons. Motion passes. Thank you, and thank you. Moving on to ordinance 2026-3245, regulating operation of electric bicycles and scooters.
So we started kind of where we're at today is we started getting some complaints on these scooters, and as it got more and more involved, the complaints started coming in, and then we were hearing from the hospital on some major injuries from these scooters. So we I don't want to say shopped around. We looked around at different ordinances through what we could find in the state of Kansas, and this is fairly new to a lot of cities because this is kind of all popped up at once, and there's not a lot of ordinances out there to copy off of or to get good information from. So we took a collective measure on what we could gain off that information and kind of put our heads together and with Amy and Justin and then my staff kind of put an ordinance together to for these scooters and electric bikes. And I think one of the biggest things that we've seen is a lot of ordinances that were out there were not allowing anybody under the age of 16 to ride them, and then some cities were banning it totally. I didn't think that we should go that in depth in it. I think we should allow everybody to ride them as long as they follow the safety rules that we're providing, and to wear a helmet if they're under the age 18. Make sure they have the proper lighting equipment on there. And one thing is just be safe and follow. Basically, this is mirrored off of the bicycle ordinance, or I shouldn't say ordinance, the bicycle laws. We are working with the hospital and Farm Bureau on putting a safety class together August 1st. And I think there's going to be some prizes given away to helmets given away. And I don't want to, I shouldn't say prizes, some helmets given away at this, but I don't want to speak too deep in that because we're still in the working stages of getting all that together. But we feel that we should put on a safety class for definitely the scooters and let them know the laws and regulations on it. And hopefully the parents will come too, so they can understand the laws on these as well. We've had a lot of close calls. I just don't want to have to tell someone's parents that little Susie's not coming home tonight because she was ran over at an intersection. I hope we can, this is not meant to just attack the scooters or the electric bikes. We just want to make sure that they're safe, just like everybody else. And to help the drivers out there as well, because there's a lot going on in a vehicle without having to watch out for a scooter. So one of the biggest things that you'll see in this is we're not gonna allow them to ride them downtown or at the sports complex. We believe that those are the two areas that are probably has the heaviest traffic, or the way those doors set back, especially in Main Street. If someone's coming out, they don't see them, there could be a collision there. So we just ask them to walk them in that area, and then the rest is to follow bicycle safety rules.
One of the big things too, in looking over this is a lot of this mirrors very much most places that have any kind of regulation or ordinances when it comes to these e-scooters, is if you're under the age of 18, you have to wear a helmet. Some places now are straight up just going to, if you're 16 and under, you cannot ride these. I was told last week, I don't know if they've done it yet, or they're at least entertaining, I think it's the city of Heston, is thinking about just completely no e-bikes, no scooters in town. It's becoming too much of an issue, too much of a safety issue because of the inattentiveness of, I'm just gonna say it, the scooter riders. A lot of times they're bebopping around, they have their headphones on, whatever it may be, but you know, they need to stay to the right. They can't be going down the middle of the road. They need to be watching out. One of the things in downtown, you know, so it's like, okay, well, they can't ride on the sidewalk. Can they ride on the street? No, we don't want to ride on the street because those cars backing out, you don't always see them coming that close. So we're just trying to keep folks safe. Another big thing is the lighting on it. The amount of times I even personally have seen kids on scooters with no headlight, no tail light, something is going to happen. We're not, you just can't see these kids. So they do have to have an operating, I think, front and tail light.
That is correct.
Is it a tail light or is it a reflector?
Well, so some places, let's see here, what do we have? So maybe I misspoke.
A red light or reflector?
Oh, reflector business from the rear, yeah. Now, I will say that's probably a good idea. The light is going to be easier to see, because a lot of those, you can get a tail light essentially for a bike or a scooter. Now the scooters might be a little bit more difficult to attach, I guess, but some of those just continuously blink. But this is more so just a safety thing. A lot of places are going to this. It's just getting to a point where we're seeing a lot of them. You know, for a long time they were out, they were expensive, they were kind of cost prohibitive. They're a lot cheaper now, so everybody was able to get one in. So just be careful.
And we've had deep conversations at our department and our staff about, you know, how to address these. And as you can see in there, the penalties, what we're proposing is for officers is we really, the first time that we have to come across the problem, where we really want to have a stern talking and let them know about the safety rules and all that. Second time, if we have to cite them, then it will follow under a traffic infraction, and it'll be a mandatory court appearance to go in front of Justin and Judge Steyer, and hopefully the parents are there and maybe have a deeper conversation. And it could be penalized up to $250. I don't see us having to get there, but we had to set something.
One of the things I wondered about, there are people my age who are preferring to ride electric tricycles. I mean, with three wheels.
Okay.
And I would hope that this would cover these regulations would cover that type of conveyance as well. And maybe the way to handle it would be to just change the definition, means of 2 or 3 wheeled vehicle, or, you know, I don't know. I don't want to make it too complicated, but I do think that it should be clear that it's not just for 2-wheeled things.
And sometimes those, what's that?
Is it would only put 2 of them there, so.
Well, it depends on how many watts.
Yeah.
I don't know how powerful those tricycles are.
They're the same.
Are they?
Got the same
Okay, so-
engines on.
So it very well would probably fall under the electric bicycle we could probably, I mean, no, it's not technically a bicycle, but, it would be fully equipped with operative pedals for human propulsion, a saddle and an electric motor for less than 750 watts. I guess maybe I'm not familiar with the trike. Are they pedaling the trikes? Do they have
Yeah,
the
I
ability to
mean, it's
pedal
just
them?
like
So it's like an electric bike.
it's for people with balance issues.
Yeah.
So it seems like that maybe the simplest thing would just be to have a bicycle / tricycle.
Yeah.
Anytime the bicycle is mentioned, just have / tricycle,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, no.
Find and replace, and we're talking
Yeah,
about,
an electronic, electric bicycle, electric.
And that would cover that.
Bicycle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd do it.
I also think that this is a great start. I don't know that I would doubt that there's a single person in this room who couldn't offer at least one anecdote of experiences. So I think that it's something that unfortunately is necessary and will be helpful. I also think it's entirely possible that we'll get into this through the summer and fall, and there's an opportunity then to modify the ordinance at a future time. Well, this is really working. We need to add this into it. But I think this is a great place to start, and provide some structure and guidance as we move forward.
I'd like to propose an amendment in section 5, the sidewalk operation in downtown. And my reasoning is there are times when I've almost been run over by somebody in an electric wheelchair going very quickly. So instead of prohibiting it, because we have so many kids that are going downtown and they're going to Little Bisbee's and the movie theater, and we don't want to discourage that, and we don't want them running in the street. I would propose that instead on B, that it says instead, within the downtown business district, operation upon sidewalks shall only be permitted when the operator rides on the portion of the sidewalk nearest the curb, the electric bicycle / tricycle or electric scooter is operated at a speed not exceeding 7 miles per hour. And the operator yields the right of way to all pedestrians at all times. And then strike the language of the Broadway Plaza. And keep the language about Concordia Sports Complex because there is no sidewalk to ride on. My biggest concern is backing out. Any place where people are backing out, they're not gonna see kids. So keeping that intact, but allowing for the business districts in order to keep kids going to Brits, going to all of those places, because I do think it will make it so that they no longer want to.
I don't think those e-scooters, when we say 7 miles an hour, I'm not sure how we enforce that, because I don't think we're not gonna run radar and those kids, they don't have speedometers on there, I don't
But
think.
they do,
Do they?
but yeah, they all do, but you can tell if they're going quickly, you'll be able.
Yes, absolutely.
7, I tested it the other day. If you go 5, say what?
So are you part of the problem?
I'm definitely part of the problem, but going at 5, maybe it's just somebody my weight and height, you have a hard time keeping it afloat.
Oh, yeah.
But going 7 is just the right speed where you're toddling along, but you're not going fast.
Okay.
But that would be the amendment I propose.
I sure hope so.
Actually, with the way that it's written here, B1, within Broadway Plaza, I think the intent there was inside the fence. So if there's an event going on, we have people riding on the side of the inside of the fence. We're looking at that as a pedestrian fence area. So are you proposing to take that language and the scooters would be allowed inside the fence?
I don't see the harm in allowing them inside the fence when there's not events going on, and
You want them riding them? See, that's the thing, like, I kind of look at it as if you're within there, you can get off of it and walk it. You know,
Sure.
like I would if I was on my bike. I'm not gonna ride my bike.
Mhm.
If it's grass, I'm
Sure.
afraid they tear that
I'm
up.
amenable to taking that part out and leaving the Broadway Plaza in, but just mostly just the downtown sidewalks.
So if elected as it is, then the kids can still ride them on the sidewalks with your amendment. Go to an event at the Broadway Plaza and then have to walk them inside or park them outside.
I think that's reasonable, and I think that really, like you said, Justin, whether there's, we're not gonna be running radar per se, but it does, if somebody's not making responsible decisions, it allows there to be a conversation, an informative discussion with law enforcement to help provide some education, right? And then if a parent wants to, or guardian wants to call in and give grief to our law enforcement for trying to have a conversation, then, well, here's why, and we have an ordinance that helps us to support that conversation. more than just general concern, here's an ordinance that we're following.
Yeah, and I think that's why we wanted to put this together, because I don't wanna say we really didn't have no teeth, but we didn't have nothing to fall back on and say, yes, we have an ordinance in place and this is what it states and this is why we're doing it. So that's another reason why we put all this together, to bring to you guys to try to get something into place, so we have something like that crutch to lean on, so.
And I convened some moms for some of this, so we kind of came to a.
No, I appreciate it, because this was kind of hard to,
Yeah.
I mean, there's just not a lot out there on this stuff.
And then if the downtown portion proves to still be an issue, you know, it's a good threat at your August 1st saying you don't follow it, we'll ban it in downtown, you know, there's the possibility of banning it downtown happens.
Perfect.
I had a couple things to offer. One is that I appreciate you doing this. A lot of the kids have been asking, what is legal? What can we do? What can't we do? Where should we be riding? Are we gonna get in trouble for riding here? So I do appreciate it. They wanna know. I also appreciate the addition of helmets, because I do believe that is important when riding in the street especially, but and because how fast they go. But I guess with some of what was brought up over here, the sports complex I do see as being dangerous, except for when there's not an event there. Like, I don't, you know, if a kid lives nearby there and there's nothing going on and it's the middle of the day and nobody's parked there and they just want to drive around the circle, I think that would be a okay thing, like when there's no event taking.
Yeah, so I think if we just have within the sports complex, when no event is taking place or something like
I say within the sports complex when sporting events.
Unoccupied or,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what language to use,
Well,
but
we'll figure
if
something out.
it's empty and there's no
Yeah.
cars parked.
So it would be, does this prohibit it? So they're prohibited within pedestrian dense areas within so including within the Concordia sports complex, I'd say during sporting events or.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, like after school though, when all the teachers are backing out of there, that's also a time where it's potentially. So I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
This-
that's
when
what it's
there's no one
complicated. It's
there.
like, yeah, how do we
I don't
account for every single situation? And so.
Right. When occupied, when events. I mean, if you're just trying to avoid the sporting events, then, and teachers.
How about
don't-
just when school is in session or an event is taking place at the sports complex?
I like that.
That's good. Yeah, we could do that.
I also appreciate you allowing them to ride on the sidewalk, because
Well, a lot
then they're
of
off the
places,
street.
yeah, a lot of places don't, because it's actually not legal to ride your bike on the sidewalk. A lot of places don't. And I've had kids, like in my neighborhood, we have brick sidewalks and those can be a challenge to ride on. And so I've had some concerns with that. Had a couple kids like, slow down, be careful.
Yeah. But, and then my last interjection, and it's not necessarily always the scooter riders that are being not courteous. I've witnessed drivers not being respectful of them, being on the roads, turning in front of them. It may be bullying a little bit almost, and
Yeah,
I
no,
feel
so
like that is,
I would agree with you 100%,
Difficult.
since we kind of had the discussion of scooters and all that, and we've had some complaints come in. We've also had complaints come in on that. There's drivers that are trying to create these situations,
I've
so.
witnessed one too.
So I don't know how we're gonna address that, but I think I mean, if we see it, definitely we'll deal with it, but we don't wanna always see it. But I think if we try to educate drivers as well, on somehow, some level, I think that is important as well.
I think that it's also important, I mean, the pedestrians, I mean, what's the language about pedestrians having the right of way? Would a pedestrian be considered someone who is riding a scooter? I mean, I don't know where that,
Not necessarily.
No,
Now,
I think it's
if we have, what's that?
I think the pedestrian only has right away at the
At the
crosswalk.
crosswalks. My opinion is you have a situation, I've seen them before and I've been a part of them just on like a bicycle even, is that some people get aggressive and they will try to do something. That we start to get to a point where we're having to really look into in different facets here in the city with just the sheer amount of what would be considered reckless driving. So I think if we can have a situation like that where somebody's doing something like that, there's gonna be some type of a traffic infraction, if not a reckless driving. Maybe they blow the stop sign or, you know, they're not yielding the right of way or whatever it may be.
Or if they're swerving at them or whatever, then I feel that falls into the reckless driving.
yeah, I would think that with the marketing of this, or as we discuss this, having some sort of infographic or other language about what are the what are the scooter riders' responsibilities and what are automotive responsibilities, and kind of some co-education at that point about what are the responsibilities we all have to help make the whole community a safer place. We're all involved, right? And some of that dual messaging can go out.
Thank you guys for your input.
I would move to approve ordinance 2026-3245 with section 5B amended as discussed and with the addition of tricycles alongside bicycles.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you so much.
We'll get this updated.
That's great.
Appreciate you.
Professional services agreement, Concordia Industrial Park.
Good evening, commissioners. At the request of city staff, I have submitted an agreement for professional services. This would allow Campbell and Johnson to do the design, analysis, permitting, plan specifications, and where required, public bid letting for the public infrastructure that would need to be put in place for the development out in the industrial park on what would that be? West Seventh, the end of West Seventh, west of the sports complex. East, yes, sorry. I've been in the sun for the last 2 days. So East 7, thank you. I'm happy to answer any questions. In there is a estimated schedule. I know time is of the essence on this project, and there's quite a bit of moving parts in different people kicking in services. And so we will be aggressively trying to attack this summer to get the plans available so that we can get through the public permitting process so that we can get to construction where needed as quickly as possible. I will be doing that in all of my spare time while I'm also managing 7th Street down there as well too. Any questions?
Do you have time to do that?
Okay. Evenings, weekends. Yes, ma'am.
And the estimated schedule is in line with everything else that's.
As far as I'm aware.
Awareness.
Yes.
I move to approve the agreement with Campbell and Johnson for new public infrastructure at the Concordia Industrial Park in the amount of $98,500 to be paid from the water fund, wastewater fund, and reserves with incremental reimbursement expected as lots are sold.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, Jason. Moving on to reports, manager's report.
Mayor and Commissioners, our biggest news tonight is that we do have an accepted offer for city clerk as of this afternoon, so we're very excited to report that. Other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
I'm sad Stacy will be retiring again. All it took is for me to come back. Oh, we appreciate that.
So we have a projected start date.
Plan right now is to start next week part-time, kind of ease into it, but then be here full-time after that, and that will allow the new clerk to be present for the budget study sessions. It will, allow us to have a more effective onboarding plan. So, all chunks.
Any other staff reports?
Jason happened to be here. He's spent a lot of time down there. I was gonna have him give a report on the status of what's going on 11th. If you want.
Yeah, be glad to. As of this evening, the new asphalt on 11th and Highland is complete and will be fully open to traffic. There will still be some cleanup that needs to be done. That will happen after the holiday weekend, beginning next week up on 7th and Highland, which when I say cleanup, I mean the crumbs and the debris and the dust that happens when you do a mill and overlay project that's up there. All of that will get cleaned up. But the new pavement is in. It looks fantastic. The contractor that did it did a great job. I've invited them to bid more projects in the city of Concordia and the future. Regarding the 11th Street portion of the project, we started at Matthew Street and are heading east. So we have new curb and gutter in place from Matthew almost all the way to Doster as of today. And are beginning the process of updating the storm sewer in the intersection of 7th and Doster, and have beginning headed removal of the street and the pavement east of Doster up to Church Street. We will hopefully make it to Church Street by the end of this week, before we break for holidays. That will allow them to start the curb in that area. Our plan then will be to jump back onto Doster Street and get Doster prepared to move forward between 6th and 7th. That kind of takes care of that area directly right around the middle school sooner than later. We'd like to get the curb and the pavement in there so that Shane can work out the striping and things that he wants to do around the school district. We had a progress meeting on Monday. The contractor is projecting to be laying pavement on 7th and Doster the week of July 27th, which would still give him time, should we have more additional weather days, to get that done before projected start of school, which is like the August 5th or 11th or something like that. So we are on track to have that be the plan. There may be some still small things that we would have to do that may still have to happen in that project once school starts, but our plan would be to be as far as close to substantially complete before school starts as possible. There'll still be a couple of commission meetings between now and then, and so either myself or Shane will keep you updated where we're at. I'm out there every single day monitoring the status. We're meeting with the contractors on a bi-weekly basis to reinforce scheduling and whatnot. And so we're doing everything we can to keep on schedule for that project. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions on that, if you guys had any. It could be going much better than it did. The rain was fantastic, but that slowed us down a little bit, but we're now picking up speed again. So
I want to say the Q word like an ER.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I also wanted to mention, I have a signal down at State 6th at Word Parts. They're not gonna be in for a week or two to replace that signal, but as soon as they come in, I'm hoping to jump right on top of the tree planter boxes.
Are we still on schedule to have those done by Fall Fest?
The tree planter boxes, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we are, for sure. Just gonna try to work through the small stuff before we get back on it. Right now we're mowing this week for the 4th, and we'll be jumping back on planter boxes. Should be able to knock out. We might jump into all last 8 of them so we can pour at the same time.
We're still working on the potholes here and there.
Yeah, I had a couple guys patching potholes this last week on the east side of town. Just to keep everybody moving in different directions, so we're not all in one spot. We got everything north and south done. I think they were getting ready to start east and west on the east side of town. But it's gonna be a bit of a push to get everything else done and potholes. So we're gonna work it in.
It's working some in. That's what I've work some in.
Yeah, we'll definitely work some in for sure. There's always gonna be the guys that can work on potholes while we're getting the boxes made and stuff. Anything else, you guys? No, all right.
So we're gearing up for 4th of July this weekend. We've tried to push out a bunch of Facebook posts on when the times you can shoot them. So now until the 4th, it's 7 in the morning till 11 at night. Then on 4th of July on Saturday, it's 7 in the morning till midnight. we're expecting to be pretty busy after midnight on the fourth. We got kind of ramped up our staff to help with those, but, got a lot of stuff going. The hospital's doing a 5K run and we're helping with that as well. And hopefully everything goes smooth. We got the city fireworks as well that will be out there directing traffic, and hopefully all that goes smooth and as in years past.
How many big boom posts do you expect?
A lot.
This today were pretty significant.
Yeah. I will say that Salina is now having that problem.
I know.
We've caught one guy that's went through court already. We have an idea on a couple other guys, but we just can't always be in the right area at the right time.
Are they fireworks?
They're the one that we caught was fireworks, but we're understanding that they're moving up to a little bigger stuff now. So maybe we'll visit them in the ER. I don't know, but
That it's now, maybe some folks know too, if anybody's listening, that kind of stuff is now actually getting the attention of like the ATF. I have a situation down in Salina where it went from, he was building his own stuff, and it went from something in district court to now the feds are taking a look at where you're getting it from, how you're getting it, how you're building it. So while we think it's funny, certain people in the community probably do, to have everybody on Facebook booms coming from, it's getting the attention of more than just the local communities. So because it's happening in a lot of places.
anything else, guys? Thank you.
I just wanted to update you a little bit. Last meeting, Commissioner Wentz had asked about the status of the downtown improvement project. We awarded at the old night rooming, and I had talked with the owners of that place, and they are in the process of renewing that. They've been with Tim Bimes and have gotten applications for that. So that's in the process of being renewed. And then also, I had apologized for the lack of nuisances and things. I would like to say now that we have 16 of them active, and they all come off tomorrow, and I'll be doing the level. Appreciate that.
Any other staff reports? Mayor, commissioner comments and reports. Marcia, do you have anything?
No.
Excuse me.
No,
And nothing from here. We're done with reports. I would entertain a motion to adjourn to a study session to discuss the police department wage study, but don't take off, because then we also have land bank.
so moved.
Second.
Is there a motion and a second? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Same sign. We are now in study session. Do anyone need a break before we get started?
So with this, we kind of put together a wage study on where the police department falls. I mean, I know John just did one a couple weeks ago on the fire department. We did a wage study on the Concordia Police Department. And one of the tasks, this is one of the tasks that I signed Lieutenant Sorrell to. So he's going to do most of the talking on the study.
So what we found is we prepared charts for you guys. On the top left, I'll try to explain this to you, is the current base for the Concordia Police Department. It has our population, and then to the right of that, the current health insurance plans that the city offers. So the example I have here in front of me is the Beloit Police Department. And so right below that is the current pay structure that Beloit has, their current population, and then their comparison to us. As you can see, the starting salary, we're 2% below what Beloit starts their officers at. The starting sergeant wage is 26% lower than what we are. What we found is every municipality that we called is, our starting salary is pretty adequate to everybody else. We have seen a large gap between a 3-year officer all the way to essentially chief of police. The insurance as well, a lot of places are offering a lot cheaper insurance. And our 3 to 5 year officers compared to all the municipalities are anywhere from 2% to almost 26% less than what we're making, or they're making 26% more, I'm sorry. I've also included at the very bottom, we called around and asked for the mill levies and the current valuation of each city. The mill levies, what you asked for the general fund, a lot of places couldn't provide that for us. They just gave us the mill levy. Our biggest thing is we want to retain our officers. It cost around, I think Chief and I were talking today, around 13,000 just for the 3 months, whether in the police academy for wages and uniforms. We found out today Salina is removing their resident policy for law enforcement. So that's just gonna be harder for us to retain young officers to drive 40 minutes. I think their starting salary is almost $7 or $8 an hour more than we are. We know we're not gonna compete with Salina, we know that. So what we're kind of proposing to get us to where other departments our size is on the bottom of the page, the patrol will stay the same. We're asking that the sergeant wage would start at 26 to get it comparable to other municipalities. The lieutenant would start out at 28, and then to continue that pay increase would be a 4% between each step to kind of get us to where Beloit, like Scott City, Colby, we put Colby and Pratt in here because they also have a community colleges we do.
And one of the other things that we noticed by calling around is I know, and I can speak for Beloit because I was in the room when they were talking about it, is they do a night differential pay as well. So if you work nights, it's $1 more, or if you're bilingual, whatever. So, I mean, that's some things that maybe we can look at in the future as well.
One thing that came to mind when I was reading this is like some of these smaller population towns that can't afford to pay more. Do you have an idea of how many people they have on their department compared to ours? Like,
so Beloit, I think other than, they don't have a lieutenant. I know Emma, you called Beloit, talked to Chief.
So Beloit, they have a chief as their admin. They always have one night guy, one day guy, and then their sergeant is a mid, so 3 p.m. to 3 a.m. So pretty much the same structure we have, except for in Concordia, we have the lieutenant position, which they replace as a like city clerk kind of, and my position, which is the detective position. So
Total officers are around 8, right?
yeah.
So we're 10.
And that's pretty standard around towns like this, is to have one night, one day, and then mid shift for patrol.
And that's currently what we are running. We have what we call our day shifter at 6 in the morning till 6 at night. And then our mid shift comes out at 3 and works 3 to 3. And our night shift guy comes out at 6 at night till 6 in the morning. And the reason we have the mid shifter coming out later, and that way it gives us 2 people on the night hours, because if you look at the statistics, most of our domestics and all that stuff are happening at night and are more violent crimes. And I feel better knowing that we have 2 officers on those type of calls and waiting on someone to get dressed and back them up and come out of their house.
the way that I understand it now, though, everybody rotates through night, so
That
they don't get a differential because everybody's trading, like you're not just day or just night.
No,
shift.
so, when I took over, they were just staying on nights as long as they wanted. I didn't like that because you get used to, let's say a night guy, all he gets used to is doing DUIs, domestics or something like that, versus a day shifter does, you're more, sex crimes, criminal damage property, stuff like that. So we put in process that every 4 months we rotate now.
And so Beloit, they have the shift differential, and I think this is kind of where you're getting, right? Anyone who's working after 6 p.m. is considered getting that night differential. So even if they're working day shift, but they have to work until 8 p.m., they get 2 hours of the night differential, even being on days. So
it's not person specific, it's shift specific.
shift.
Time specific.
Yes.
And we know everything is tight. We're not asked that. One, we just want to kind of see where we fell in line because of recruiting and retention. And I can happily say we are full staffed. I hired another female officer a week ago, and she actually starts next Monday. So we're excited about that. She is a graduate from Fort Hays Criminal Justice, so she'll be going to the academy. We're full staff, both dispatch and patrol side. So we're not losing officers right now, but I want to set it up for the future that we don't. I want to be able to retain officers because we put a lot of money into them. We have great officers, and we try to hire people that are kind of vested to Concordia so we can get them to stay.
So Chief, do
Yes.
you require them to work so long if we send them to the academy?
Yes, 1 year after the academy. Is it that training sheet? I don't know what to call it, training.
Work commitment.
Yeah, work commitment, yes, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I appreciate this level of detail, especially with the insurance and the mill levy evaluation on each. That's incredibly helpful. Thanks.
Other question?
Are benefits a deterrent ever? I mean, as far as family benefits, have you noticed that? Just, I mean, trending for citywide, or because that's the same for everybody.
I think a few years ago, we found in the states, I think you might be able to help us remember this, but there was a point in time when across the board, people were they were more concerned about the wage they were being paid than the benefits that we offered at all. There were some that even asked about, if I don't take health insurance, can I get paid more? Which we didn't offer that option because we need to stay above 50 people enrolled in our group health insurance to offer group health insurance. And because when we have like 5960 FTE, we need to make sure that we have that option.
Yeah, we thought it was interesting that Marysville Police Department pays for both single and family plan 100%. I mean, we all know that that's each city is having a hard time with that right now because of the raising cost in that. And we thought that maybe a year from now when we call, it's going to be a little different story. But we're just going off the data that we were given.
So they all have the same health insurance, or is ours a better plan?
I can't answer that fully. I just know, Marcia, that the Marysville, they said that they had Blue Cross Blue Shield Platinum. So I don't know what the difference between Platinum and the different, I don't understand that, and we didn't really ask a lot of questions on that. So most of like Walmego's Blue Cross Blue Shield, Scott City Blue Cross Blue Shield. So that seems to be pretty popular. Salina's Blue Cross Blue Shield, Clearwater Blue Cross Blue Shield, Beloit Blue Cross Blue Shield, Belleville Blue Cross Blue Shield, Colby Blue Cross Blue Shield. So it's pretty consistent with Blue Cross Blue Shield.
Yeah, it's a monopoly, so it should be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would probably echo what I shared with Chief Christensen. I think the value is certainly there. Really appreciate all the work that law enforcement's been doing over the last several years. As you mentioned, we are coming into budget season, so I know there's going to be a lot of hard conversations, and definitely want to try to reinforce this that it's whatever decisions are made, it's not perspective, any sort of reflection of the lack of value. We certainly appreciate everything that all the officers do, and certainly we'll do what we can to try to support that.
I appreciate that. Thanks for hearing us.
Yep, thank you.
Well, now. Straight switch to land bank. All the meeting of the land bank in order. Hey, are there any public comments? Seeing none, we'll go into new business, sale of real estate, lot 6, block B, St. Joseph subdivision, 1105 St. Joseph Circle.
This is another cleanup item. We did several different development agreements between November and February, looking through all of those. As we reviewed our work, we realized that we did not take the step after we approved the development agreement for Lot 6, Block B at St. Joe. The next step is to come to the land bank meeting and have you formally transfer the deed over to the new owners that we signed the development agreement with. So this is a cleanup item. So back in February, we approved the development agreement with the Bouts family and for Lot 6, Block B in the St. Joseph subdivision. And so we want to make sure that we formally transfer that deed over to them. It takes it out of the land bank, puts it in private ownership, so all the benefits that come with private ownership there. So the Bouts family would then be able to go ahead and proceed forward with their plans for preparing to build a new house, a new home on that property, which we do expect to happen within the next 18 months or so.
I move to approve the sale of property located at 1105 St. Joseph Circle, Lot 6, Block B, St. Joseph subdivision per the deed.
Second.
Been a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. With no other new business, I entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
There's been a motion and a second to adjourn. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.